Peru, a land of breathtaking contrasts. Towering Andes, lush Amazon, and a mysterious coastline. Its geography is a source of immense wealth. Gold, silver, copper, fish, fertile land. For centuries these riches have built empires and attracted conquerors. But Peru's story is not just about abundance, it's about paradox, wealth and poverty, power and struggle. To understand Peru today, we must look back through centuries of resilience and reinvention. The answers lie in ancient ruins, colonial mines, and the bustling markets of Lima. This is a story of a nation constantly adapting. We'll journey from the Inca Empire, built on community and obligation, to the violent upheaval of Spanish conquest. We'll see fortunes made and lost on unlikely commodities like bird droppings. And we'll witness how distant wars and global depressions could bring Peru to its knees. This isn't just about numbers or GDP. It's about the lives behind the statistics, the highland farmer, the coastal fisherman, the underground miner. Government decisions, global markets, and political turmoil have shaped their world. We'll explore the dizzying highs of booms and the crushing lows of hyperinflation. This is the economic saga of Peru, a story of paradox, pain, and enduring hope. Welcome to a journey through Peru's past and present, the land of promise and paradox. Let's begin. Before the Spanish arrived, the Inca Empire ruled with a unique economic vision. No coins, no money. Just a system built on reciprocity and community. The Ailu, or family clan, was the foundation. Each worked land collectively, sharing harvests among members, the state, and for emergencies. Labor was the true currency, formalized in the mita. Every man owed service to the state, building roads, temples, and terraces. In return, the state provided food, tools, and security, a grand social contract. Massive storehouses, or kulkas, ensured no one starved in hard times. The Incas engineered terraced farms and irrigation canals, transforming mountains into breadbaskets. Officials tracked everything with quipas, knotted strings recording goods, people, and obligations. It was a command economy, centrally planned and meticulously managed. The empire's strength was collective effort, not personal profit. This system allowed the Incas to achieve feats of engineering and agriculture unmatched in the Americas. But this world was about to be shattered. The arrival of the Spanish would upend everything. The Inca model, built on community, would be replaced by a system of extraction. The story of Peru's economy was about to change forever. The age of gold and silver was about to begin. The consequences would echo for centuries. The Inca legacy, however, would never fully disappear. Its spirit of resilience endures in Peru to this day. The next chapter, conquest and colonial transformation. The land of promise faces its greatest test. Let's see what happened next. In 1532, Spanish conquistadors arrived, driven by a hunger for gold and silver. The Incas' community-based economy was dismantled, replaced by a colonial system built for extraction. Peru became a treasure chest for Spain, its wealth funneled across the ocean. Potosi's silver mines bankrolled the Spanish Empire, but at a horrific human cost. Millions of indigenous people forced into deadly labor. The mita became a tool of exploitation. Land was seized and consolidated into haciendas serving the needs of the mines. The economy grew dangerously specialized, focused on silver, not food or local needs. Wealth flowed outward, enriching a distant empire while deepening inequality at home. The infrastructure, laws, and society were all shaped by this extractive model. A small colonial elite prospered, the majority suffered. This pattern, dependency on a single export, foreign enrichment, local poverty, would haunt Peru for centuries. The legacy of colonial extraction set the stage for future booms and busts. The silver of Potosi made Spain rich, but left Peru with deep scars. The next era would bring independence and new challenges. The cycle of promise and peril continued. Peru's struggle for economic identity was far from over. The story moves to the age of guano. Independence in 1821 brought hope, but not stability. The economy was in ruins, silver mines depleted, and politics unstable. Then, a new fortune emerged: guano, bird droppings, rich in fertilizer. From 1840 to 1880, Peru held a near monopoly on this white gold. The guano age brought prosperity, debts paid, slavery abolished, Lima modernized. But the boom was built on a single export. The government grew corrupt and overextended, borrowing heavily against future guano profits. When deposits ran out and artificial fertilizers were invented, the economy collapsed. Massive debts and a hollowed-out economy led to disaster. The War of the Pacific with Chile ended in defeat, lost territory, and national humiliation. The Guano Age ended in bankruptcy, a brutal lesson in the dangers of relying on one commodity. Once again, Peru's fortunes rose and fell with global demand. The cycle of boom and bust continued. The nation faced the challenge of rebuilding from ruin. The next chapter: recovery, foreign influence, and new exports. Would Peru finally break the cycle? The struggle for a stable, inclusive economy pressed on. The lessons of Guano would not be forgotten. The story moves into the 20th century. A new era begins. After the War of the Pacific, Peru was devastated, financially and psychologically. Foreign creditors took control of key assets, deepening dependence on outside capital. The 20th century brought new exports: sugar, cotton, copper, and a brief rubber boom. Economic growth favored a small elite and foreign companies, while most Peruvians remained poor. Inequality fueled unrest and new political movements demanding reform. Global shocks, World War I, then the Great Depression, brought brief booms and crushing busts. Exports collapsed, unemployment soared, and political instability returned. Peru remained vulnerable to forces beyond its control. The cycle of hope and hardship continued. The 1980s, Peru's lost decade. Democracy returned, but the economy was in crisis: debt, inefficient industries, and failed populist policies. Two disasters struck: El Niño and the rise of the Shining Path insurgency. President Alan Garcia's populist plan to limit debt payments led to economic isolation. The government printed money to cover costs, triggering hyperinflation. Prices exploded, savings vanished overnight. In 1990, inflation hit 7,650%. People carried cash in bags, the economy ground to a halt. Public services collapsed, and terror spread as the Shining Path gained ground. Blackouts, food shortages, and daily hardship became the norm. The state was bankrupt, society teetered on collapse. The trauma of the 1980s left deep scars. It was a painful lesson in the cost of economic mismanagement. The nation was desperate for change. The next chapter: radical reform and recovery. Could Peru escape the cycle at last? The answer would shape a generation. The Fujimori era began. In 1990, Peru was on the brink of collapse. Alberto Fujimori's Fuji shock brought drastic free market reforms. Price controls ended, subsidies slashed, and the currency replaced. The immediate pain was severe, but hyperinflation was defeated. Privatization and foreign investment, especially in mining, followed. As the Shining Path was subdued, stability returned. The 2000s brought a global commodity boom. China's demand for copper and gold fueled rapid growth. From 2002 to 2013, Peru's economy grew over 6% per year. Poverty was cut in half, millions joined the middle class. Cities transformed with new malls, apartments, and businesses. GDP per capita tripled, and optimism soared. The Peruvian miracle showed resource wealth could drive real progress. But the gains were uneven and new challenges loomed. The cycle of boom and vulnerability was not over. The next test: political instability and a global pandemic. Could Peru's progress endure? The 2010s brought growth, but also political turmoil. Multiple presidents ousted amid scandals. The COVID-19 pandemic hit Peru hard, with strict lockdowns devastating the informal workforce. The economy shrank by over 11% in 2020, erasing years of poverty reduction. Today, Peru stands at a crossroads. Its strengths: solid macroeconomic foundations, low inflation, and rich resources in mining, agriculture, and tourism. Its greatest asset: the resilience of its people, forged through centuries of hardship. But deep political instability and economic informality remain. The challenge: turn resource wealth into opportunity for all, especially rural and indigenous communities. Diversifying the economy and strengthening public services are critical. Peru's story is one of mountains of silver, fleeting fortunes, and remarkable recoveries. The path ahead is uncertain, but history shows Peru's enduring capacity to overcome. The land of promise and paradox continues its journey. The next chapter is still being written.